Up at 90, 10 points lower, 10 points. So I'm gonna adjust it. 55. Adjust my straddle 10 points lower. 35. Hey, Koshik. I got one trade in pre-market and it was off the 1 hour SMT. I think the high was like the 4 p.m. candle on NQ and the high on ES was the 4 a.m. candle. I think I said PM by accident. And the 5 a.m. candle on ES. And I think I got in somewhere around like 6:40 a.m. and played the first slide down. I was going for about 20 points, just under 20 points, but it had bounced where I thought it might bounce, and I ended up closing at about 10 points. So I think I wrote it down from 73.32. It was just over a 1 hour trade, aiming for more something. I was aiming for over 2 hour, but I didn't like that bounce, and if I move to break even, there's a strong chance pre-market that the price action will hit me break even, which it would have, because I think I entered at around 73.32 ES, and price action went back up to 73.33. I was away from my desk when the 15-minute candle made that doji on both ES and NQ. And I think those are when the Trump bombs basically came in and drove us down to where my actual target was. But I'll take that, I guess, for a pre-market trade. Yeah, it just seemed to me, part of the reason why I also entered was because it was more or less going straight line up on the 1 hour chart. There's a little bit minor pullbacks, but I thought that that was like the topping indicator at around 5 a.m. and PPI was going to come in. I was hoping for a reaction prior to PPI, and kind of got one, but yeah, didn't hold long enough, I would say. Probably could have got a re-entry at around 8:15, right before the Trump bomb, but it is what it is. It wasn't at my desk at that point. And yeah, another reason why I wanted to enter was because we were sitting at around 73.30, 73.20, 73.30 SPX. And that would be somewhere around like a 70 point gap up. And I thought we're likely to pull back into the gap just to make it a little bit smaller at the very least. And that we did. But yeah, I think the real trade was 8:15. Oh. You sent something. These swings are high probability reversals. Which swings? Both in NQ and ES, but may not get it in AM. Let's see. Oh, you're talking about the LVNs that you marked, which is the I guess it's the overnight lows and previous day highs, correct? We're in extremely light gamma again. And yeah, the straddle at open was 64. I've adjusted it on my charts. And that takes us to basically the week's low, Tuesday's low. I really like downside, but I don't see a wave entering here. Alma was also saying that it's important for everybody to know that everyone expected inflation to be horrible. And that's why the market's been falling since Friday, right? And that she also said that today can be a liquidity hunt. But she would not be bearish until the new Fed chair. And she also said there could be a nasty window during like July OPEX and August. So we'll have to watch out for that. I think her buy-up level, she wanted to go long. And she's starting to hesitate whether or not we see all-time highs. But her longs were basically between 72.30 and 72.70 SPX, which we have hit. So I think she's starting to build up some long positions there. And I think her take profit is somewhere around like 7,500, if I remember correctly. And she's expecting a rundown. Well, not expecting a rundown, but she said she wouldn't be surprised if today is a liquidity hunt. And of course, high volatility is priced in, and we see that in the straddle price. It's really expensive. Like if you remember, Friday's straddle was somewhere around 35 points, I believe. I think it might have been 35 points. And had we played it, it would have been, let's say, if we played it on SPX, it would have cost us $3,500. But if we held the straddle to end of day, that would have been, I think, like 150 points, 150 point gain. So 150 points in the money, essentially, minus 30, so 120 points in the money. So that's, you're looking at 12,000. So it was like 4R. If you played the straddle. All right, ES is starting to run here. We're kind of hovering around the centroid. Gamma is extremely light today. So I don't think it's very reliable. I will be watching the daily chart, similar to yesterday. 7250 came on in size, but we're talking about like 2,000 positions, which it really isn't. Actually, it was a pre-market position. 7250. Bit of balance there, but not really. I'm not going to rely too heavily on the intraday breakdown by strike or gamma profile. Likely just watch the daily. Alma said the centroid is a line in the sand today, and we're there right now. The strong line in the sand, market is long vol until the downside pivot that coincides with the weekly structure line. They're long vol, so they're expecting a vol expansion on the way down towards the downside pivot. It's only about 30 points. And it's the weekly downside pivot too, so everything seems to kind of line up there. Bit of SMT here between ES and NQ. Yesterday was a gap down, run up, gap fill, and a little bit higher than the gap fill, and then we started trickling down. And then we started chopping down for like about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. What's interesting also is that NQ swept its Tuesday's low. Sorry, ES swept its Tuesday's low, but NQ did not. So that's also SMT, and likely the reason why we pumped up here. Overnight. I don't think that was an easy one to play though. I wasn't really monitoring it. I think I was looking at it slightly, but yeah, like on the 15-minute chart, I'd say you might be able to enter after the 9:15 candle or some pullback in the 9:15 candle. 19:15. So that would be the 7:15 p.m. candle of last night. Ooh, interesting move here after almost a gap fill. 72.75. 72.75 would have been the closest influence there, but I'm not seeing anything. I'm not relying on gamma and breakdown by strike today. The 73.98 level, which is, wait, 73, oh, 73.29 level. So basically 73.30, the upside pivot there, is a low probability reversion line. If it breaks, then the target could be gravitational. And the target's at like 73.98, so almost 7,400. Which would be yesterday's high of day, where you marked your LVN. But so far, the centroid seems to have held, being the line in the sand and all. Yeah, what I don't like about this high volatility environment is I can't really rely on the intraday gamma and breakdown by strike charts. All right, so NQ just took out its overnight high. Yeah, that centroid was a good one. And the SMT between NQ and ES. Not sure if you like that or if you saw anything on your end. But I was a little too biased to the downside, not looking for upside opportunity. That was the upside pivot. Pretty close to it anyways. Within 1 point. At 3 minutes to 10 a.m. But no news. Just volume injection, I guess. I wasn't watching closely enough for the upside pivot there. But I would have wanted to see a little bit of a sweep there. Which I guess ES kind of did. Just not an overnight high level. SMT here too. But that upside pivot gave like a good 15 points. Oh, nice. You got an entry? Very good. I wasn't I was trying to balance my long-term portfolio. So I missed the opportunity. I wasn't watching close enough. But that was a good rejection, especially off of Alma's upside pivot, even though she specified it's a low probability reversion line. See this 4-hour close here. 1 hour, 2 hours left. ES just looks in a lot worse shape compared to NQ. Damn, I think I just missed my only opportunity there. Wasn't watching closely enough. Alright, that's 10 o'clock. A 1 hour doji close for the most part. 2 hour doji close on NQ. This looks like a break is coming. Yeah, it was a great play, Koshik. Man, can't believe I missed that. Trying to rebalance my long-term portfolio. Right off the upside pivot. Damn. Within 1 point anyways of the upside pivot. Now let's see what it does from here. Are we gonna leave the overnight highs? Doesn't look like we're gonna leave the overnight highs though. Especially like with NQ trying to push here. YM took out its overnight highs and it's pulling back. So that's likely why ES is stalling here. I'm just looking at the gamma chart. The gamma chart is extremely light, almost like no gamma. So we're free to kind of move from a dealer's hedging perspective. So that's the only edge that we have, which is really doesn't feel like an edge, but it just says that we can expand either way. There's very little in the path. Slow down before taking the highs. Yeah, that's true. YM is still kind of pulling back after that overnight high sweep. So it's causing ES to be a little bit heavy here. You got some SMT being NQ taking the overnight highs and ES not. But I suspect ES will do it. Just needs YM to kind of cooperate, pull back a little, and then maybe run up. So we're at 73.20-ish. Yeah, that's got to be the next line in the sand at 73.29, 73.30. Vol Signals was saying 73.25 as the upside test, and we're basically there. And then a nice run up towards 73.45 after that. If we hold it. And then 72.75 was both. It seems like everyone kind of saw that range coming that I'm following. So let's take a quick look here. Yeah, 72.75. Yeah, because we were hanging around 7,300 prior to open. 72.25. I would have thought. This part's unclear to me. But 72.75 is very clear. 72.25. I'd be curious why he chose 72.25 based on how this looks. Yeah, this is the daily positioning. Yeah, we technically are in negative gamma. I wouldn't say deep negative gamma, but this is an intraday perspective, right? Let me see what bar chart, because you sent me a, yeah, and apparently the gamma flip is at 774, above 7400. I mean, the gamma flip here is 73.73, but positioning will change. According to the daily perspective, we are basically neutral gamma. We're at like 0 gamma. But I understand why everyone says it's like a negative gamma environment. I feel like neutral gamma is very much like negative gamma, where like there is no liquidity to work off of. So for instance, the blue areas on the gamma chart is typically where there is a lot of order. So there's a lot of liquidity to kind of chew through, and it ends up being supportive or resistant / magnetic if we're trending into the blue zone, or which is the positive gamma, deep positive gamma zones. But when they're in negative gamma, you have no liquidity, and it's kind of searching for it. Like I guess the price action ends up being a little bit more volatile, looking for where it may reverse, right? Wow, the SMT is holding here. And then no gamma, there's no liquidity. Yeah, it's holding pretty good here, Koshik. Interesting setup. 4 hours. I mean, is this a long opportunity? I don't really like it. I think your short is probably the best play so far. And I definitely would have tried it if I was paying more attention. I regret doing that. Balancing my portfolio badly. Oil sitting around West Texas oil sitting around 90. Got the pop from the Trump news, and ended up hitting 91.50 from 89, and now it's back at 90 on that pullback. Yeah, YM is not letting up here. YM's really pushing down. $9.45. Could be. That'll roughly be the centroid. Alma centroid. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I think NQ was definitely much better. Either that or YM. Both of which swept, but ES did not sweep. So it made it a little hard. I wasn't really looking to trade NQ. Sometimes it's kind of like a mental block or mental barrier there. Even to think of trading MNQ, it's not very it's not instinctual for me. But this thing is bleeding. I would like to see VIX gap fill its overnight gap. Currently it's at 21.4 with a high of 21.85 today or overnight. But the gap fill would be at 22.17 on VIX. And I like the prospect of gap filling, but which is why I was biased downside. But one clue should have been VIX diverging from SPX. SPX making a new low while VIX didn't make a new low between its 8:30 and 9:40 candles. I use 2, 3, 4 micros based on my entry. Nothing more than that on MNQ. Yeah, I agree. I would be the same way. But I have to it's still not instinct for me. I need to I have to swap my chart and make it a little bit easier, and then have the at the money strategy set to 40 points on MNQ or something, just as a default, because MNQ moves are so quick. 1 minute candle can be 40 points. It really bothers me that ES didn't sweep. Yeah, that's pretty wild. That makes sense though. If a 1 minute candle is 40 points, the slippage, yeah, I can only imagine. I really like this for further downside, but I don't think I can get in. It's just doesn't look great. We're back towards the line in the sand on almost there anyways, line in the sand. on SPX. That top was a good top. I really like that. And technically it gave multiple re-entries for a reversion play. So Alma's take is spot on. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just messing around in that range so far. Your win rate got to 45. Amazing. The funny part is, wait, are you counting? How are you counting your break-even trades? Are you counting them as losses or wins, or as break-even trades? Completely disregard the break-even trades, so they don't count as a trade. Like they don't add up to your trade total when you do your win rate, right? That's what you mean? Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's good that you're kind of bumping up your win rate. My win rate has always kind of fluctuated between that 50 and 60% mark. I think I've seen as high as like 65%, but um but on average it fluctuates between 50 and 60%. Pretty defined range here between the centroid and the upside pivot. I think my Tradeify account is like running at about 56% right now. The profit factor of 1.9. My Lucid account, which I haven't been trading for that long, is nope, one sec. I don't even know. I think it's all messed up. Yeah, my Lucid account's at 56% too. A profit factor of 1.4. Yeah, it's pretty consistent for me, the win percentage across different accounts. And I haven't really been copy trading. Yeah, I do like the look of this for further downside too. On the 5 minutes, I like it, but you're right, it is a little bit riskier. Got to set your stop losses accordingly in order to not get triggered. Are you taking it on? You're papering it on NQ? Yeah, because we can kind of like mess around in this range for a little bit too. But I can see us spooling down here. Just based on how like the 5 minutes looking. IFVG entry. The IFVG entry for me was like 73.09 on the 1 minute of ES. If I had to, I just realized my data is not updating. That's odd. Maybe some more Tradeify issues. Yeah, it might be some Tradeify issues for me again. On NinjaTrader specifically. Trading Views looks like it's working okay for me. Yeah, it looks like it's just messing around this range here. Yeah, I'm not particularly in love with trying anything. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Or if you play it, you have a good enough entry where you can go to break even without feeling bad. Just like, hey, by now, if the trade doesn't go, then I'm good. I'm good to break even type of thing. Like 15-minute looks like it can push up. 5-minute looked like it wanted down. Yes, look at that. That is insane. I mean, that offered a better entry. Risky entry, but better entry. I don't think I want to try this. To me, it hasn't even decided on a direction because this 72.75 on SPX and 72.30 on SPX seems to be like a defined range. Don't get me wrong, this is super tempting for me. YM looks a little stronger now. The 1 hour chart's very noisy here, so it's really hard to tell what it wants to do. Four hour chart's unclear to me too. Though I do want to see us wick below the latest 4 hour chart, so it'd be yeah, basically the low of 930. If I was dependent solely on candles. But we still got 3 hours in that 4 hour candle. Let's see the 2 hour. 2 hour looks funky. Nothing clean. dead center of this range. YM's starting to hold up pretty good here, but NQ still looks a little bit funky. Yeah, NQ does look like it wants downside. But it's just taking its sweet time here. It's just got to consolidate, I think. Either that or it's really just messing around before picking a direction. Now it's YM's turn to look a little heavy here. Words of wisdom. $15 million plus verified trader versus 15 unprofitable traders. Ah, I see. Yeah, I understand the entertainment factor. I think when people watch something, they want to be entertained, right? I don't blame them. Question is, how long are we gonna mess around in this range? VIX looks like it wants to start pushing, but it it's waiting for something. $15-minute high sweep. $15-minute high sweep. Oh, like the sweep of the 15-minute candle at the 10:15 candle. Yeah, yeah. Gotcha. Honestly, like it's pretty tough to find level-headed traders that aren't like hype-based trading. Even the guys that I trade with, they are very flaunty on the profits, which is why I have to like I have to like really not pay attention during the day to the chat, because there's a lot of like FOMO that I have to try to get rid of, because they trade a lot more. Like one of the guys trades like maybe, I don't know, like 5 to 10 trades per day, and sometimes it's like 700 points on NQ. Like he just played the ES 1 hour sweep on last night at around 8 p.m. and just played it on NQ and just wrote it. Like that's his style. It's very impressive. But it does kind of generate FOMO a little on my end. So I have to like, in order to kind of control my psyche, I have to kind of stay away from the chats and the Twitters that are posting like massive gains all the time, because the losses are never posted, right? Yeah, that entry off that sweep, that 10-15 candle sweep, would have been very nice. At the very least, this is gonna gap fill, I think. Like full gap fill on SPX. We're looking at 72.67. But if we're under 72.75, I think we have to visit like 72.50, 72. Yeah, 72.50. Mind you, that's the downside pivot of Alma's. You know what? Your initial entry has been good. And like you've been picking the market tops for the most part and holding it, or like structurally to a level that you like, or normally somewhere around like 1.5 to 2R, and then it ends up being the high of the day. Like, I get the feeling that if you entered 3 MES or maybe even 4 MES, you leave one of them to some obscene target. And maybe it's the straddle at that moment in time. So it was safe to say, like, that high, around that high, what time was that high? 9:50? Let me check the straddle graph. 9:50. You're looking at like a 57 point straddle around there. So if you had just held it, maybe you run it to 57 points. And right now it's already at 40, right? From your entry. Especially when it's high volatility. It seems like it's very worth it. And I've seen you consistently enter near the market top for the most part. Which is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because this is not the first time. Like, it happened today. I think it might have happened yesterday. Might have happened the day before. But so far you've bottom picked or top picked. And on ES, maybe it goes like 40 to 60 points. And like, this is a problem that I have too, which is why I hold it so, which is why it's at the forefront of my head. And I've been trying to figure out ways. Well, I haven't really played MES that much. So this is the gap fill on VIX, by the way. And there's a 15-minute volume imbalance here. So it's a decent take profit zone, but I think this is going to run towards 72.50 on SPX. So another 20 points from here, which might take us to the previous day low, which we have already swept overnight. Like, I can't get over the hurdle of trading 10 MES versus 1 ES, which is ridiculous, right? When you really think about it, they're exactly the same, but I have a mental block. I'll play MES long term, and I'll hold 1 or 2 positions long term, like as in a swing kind of trade, but I just can't do it intraday. Like, the 10 positions, just, even though it's virtually the same thing as 1 MES, seeing 10 positions just like throws me off. Like, I haven't trained myself. Yeah, that was a gap fill. I would say that's full gap fill on SPX and full gap fill on VIX. But target's still about 20 points lower. Yeah, I wouldn't say leave a runner if I haven't seen if I haven't seen you top pick or bottom pick. Like, you're not exactly bottom picking to the tick, but you've basically bottom ticked a trend reversal, or top tick a trend top, like within 10 to 15 points of ES, of course, which is fine, especially based on this volatility. Like, you have 1 minute candles that are 10 points, right? But yeah, if you haven't been very good, if I didn't think you've been very good at top picking and bottom picking, I probably wouldn't say, hey, yeah, leave runners, right? But the fact that you have been, and you're very consistent in doing it, I would say, yeah, your runners would do very well. And mind you, just it would just be one MES that you can break even on. Like, the rest you trade exactly as per your plan, except for the one MES. The one MES is a wild runner, in case you top picked a trend reversal. And then I think from there, you end up learning, like, you end up learning how well you actually do with the runner. And it also psychologically allows you to hold for more points than you're normally used to, because you're seeing, like, you would have seen these hit like 3 times already, 4 times already, right? In the past 4 or 5 trading days, you would have seen them hit. And you're like, okay, like, I feel good now about leaving more runners, or having a few other runners that go break even, maybe. Once you take profit the way you normally take profit, or the 3 MES that you normally take, maybe you end up taking 5 MES, and the runners just run afterwards. But obviously try it with 1 MES first, because it's a mental hurdle, right, that you have to jump over. Man, look at that. Holy cow. Yeah. So on my PVP, it's the weekly volume profile, and we hit value area low of the week there, right? Like, we ticked it perfectly on that bounce. VIX is approaching its previous day high. But wicked off of its swing high, if you want to call it that, on VIX. Good bounce. is a high volume, and a high volume 5-minute bottom wick. It's forming right off of the 1 hour value area low. NQ, I have no idea what we're bouncing off of here. But I don't have, could be an edge, but it's not clean enough in my opinion. But ES, weekly value area low, or this week's value area low. But that didn't hit where I wanted it to hit. I wanted SPX a little lower. But the high volume bottom wick, to me, I would normally want to long off this. But I think I'm going to avoid this one. Just because there's not enough here, in my opinion. But maybe it is the weekly value area low. And that was it. Weekly POC was the high of day today on ES. But I think the 5-minute could specify some sort of retracement back up to at least the value area low intraday, which you're looking at about 10 points higher here. But I'm not going to try it. That's not me. I think NQ did give you something, right? Yeah, there's almost value area low there. There's value area low on ES. Session volume profile, that is. Which is back to centroid, which is our line in the sand for the day. Yeah, SPX basically bounced off its previous gap that had already filled, but seems like the market has some memory there. Hopefully you got that. NQ is basically almost at POC, and VWAP POC seems like a great take profit there. Yeah, that 5-minute bottom wick looked pretty good. Damn it. I definitely should have tried it. You got it? Nice. And you took it to POC basically, right? Sessional POC. That's what I'm seeing on the 5-minute anyways. Pretty close to session POC. 1 hour trade. That's great. See, I thought about an entry around like 72.73, 72.74. And I was like, this is going to be a 10-point stop loss here. But it was based off of like a high volume bottom wick on the 5-minute for me. So that's normally like a go sign, in my opinion. Like that's substantial volume. I would have liked NQ if it was cleaner. Like I didn't know what NQ was bouncing off of. And I didn't particularly love a value area low on the weekly because I don't normally track it. But I was looking for something on why we would bounce. And I guess that was it. Not to mention, it also swept the 2230. Was that 1030? Swing low there on ES. Swung about 20 points low, 10 points lower, but and I guess you can call SMT between ES and NQ from that 2230 low. But it's, yeah, it's something I didn't love it. So it is what it is. But I do love myself a 5-minute bottom wick. Interesting rejection there. Structure is still holding. But it looks to me like it's on the 15 minutes. It's just down, sweep, run back up, fill some fair value gaps, down, fill some fair value gaps. Interesting bounce spot on SPX2 based on the daily gamma chart. That's the only thing I'm looking at right now. Daily gamma chart. You kind of see like how well it respects certain levels, i.e. the 0 gamma line. You can see how many times we bounced off of it. And it's like the gamma changes over time, so it's a contour, right? It's not a straight line. And it still manages to bounce off of certain levels. And like here, 11 o'clock. That's like so wild. Like to me, this is the daily looks so good. I probably shouldn't have been looking at this at all today. But I think that's your 2 trades for the day, right? Pentagon has been locked down. Hazmat's teams are responding. CNN is a source. People evacuated from several floors of Pentagon. Ooh, that's interesting. 11 o'clock. Is that when we started to spool down? No, that was the bottom. That's funny. That's odd. Pentagon spokesperson confirmed that systems within the Pentagon have detected an air quality issue necessitating precautionary measures until we determine its significance. Firefighters are on scene. Ooh, that's... Yeah, the daily gamma levels, it just amazes me a little. Just because the contours aren't straight lines. They're calculated. And the fact that they're calculated based on, like, I guess it would technically be the gamma in real time as expiration approaches. So the fact that we're respecting these contours goes to show, I guess, like dealer hedging dealer hedging is very real, and it does seem that it's based on some sort of algorithm. And the daily is the most respected, as opposed to the intraday. The intraday is not as good, especially in a high vol environment. YM looks pretty bullish here. $15-minute top wick there. 40 seconds. No, I haven't been watching any movies. Yeah, I don't think I've watched any movies as of late. I think Bahubali was the last one, and I only finished the beginning, right? I didn't watch the end yet, the second part. But I did watch a show because my wife and wanted to watch it. It's called Euphoria, and I thought they did a decent job of covering some topics on the latest season. Seems very current when it comes to American problems, if you will. Westernized metropolitan issues. How about you? Have you been watching anything? Troy from 2004? I wonder if I've watched that. Who's in it again? Is it Brad Pitt? Maybe not. Oh yeah, it is Brad Pitt. Yeah. I don't remember it if I watched it. And you're cycling through the old stuff, eh? Are you preferring the old movies versus the new ones? I mean, you also recommended Bahubali, which is like what, 2015-ish, somewhere around that time, 10 years old. Have you tried the show Euphoria? Out of curiosity? I feel like that's pretty Gen Z. Though the topics aren't very Gen Z, but the way it's made makes you feel a lot of like it spiked your cortisol level a little. I guess that's why they call it Euphoria. Yeah, it starts with high school teenagers, but I think the series started. Shoot, I don't even remember when the series started. Had to have been. Let me look at that. Yeah, it started in 2019, and the last season is 2026. And I think there's only been like 3 seasons. Yeah, 3 seasons. So there's like a huge break in between each seasons. Mind you, it's very HBO. But yeah, they kind of start off in high school, and then you follow them through high school, and then the last season, which is the 3rd season, they're outside of high school. But yeah, I think it's they definitely talk about the issues of the current time and the current generation. It feels current, right? The crazy thing is you're 23. You should, like, it's like made for you. Your age, your maturity level, not so much. You're too mature to watch this. That's the funny part. Yeah, Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. I was told to try Breaking Bad many times. I still haven't. Didn't try Vikings or Money Heist. But yeah, Game of Thrones, I just followed that through all the way to the end, and I'm still watching the newer what is it called? House of Dragons. And the first season was pretty good. The second season was it left a lot to be desired, which I think will be fulfilled in the 3rd season. Money Heist. Let me see if I have access to Money Heist. Is it HBO? Oh, it's Netflix. Nice. Okay. I might have to try that eventually. I liked Newsroom, which is also another HBO one when it first started. It was pretty good. And you basically follow like all the major events of journalism at the time. In the US. Because it's called Newsroom. But that was a pretty good series. And they touched on very good topics. Duranda. Yeah. I that's still on my list on Netflix. You're like giving me 3-hour things to watch. that my wife may not actually want to watch. So I have to make some time on the side to watch these. Yeah, bottom tick 1 hour trade. Amazing. Did you enter with how many positions did you have on that one? Three MES, missing 250. Yeah, that's pretty good. Very good. The straddle seems like it's significantly overpriced today. Let me see if there's any news tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Whoa. Why is my news feed all messed up? Tomorrow's at 12. There you go. We got University of Michigan sentiment. That's it. No real news. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The risk 500. 4 losses are very common to me. Count is gone. Yeah, I completely agree. Good point. All right, yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to cut out too. I got to eat. Nice work today, Koshik. You freaking killing it.